federal subpoena served Monday at Dalton Village Hall, asking for all payments, expense reimbursements, per diems, and credit card expenditures for Mayor Henyard.
Tiffany was out here hiding things. Girl, you really set yourself up with that move. Like, seriously, you should have just handed them over. I don't know. Close your eyes, cross your heart, chuck them in, and just hope they weren't paying attention that day. Maybe they'd be too tired to care, or their vision was acting up. But nope, you stashed them. Don't side, now you did that. Not me, okay? Hey y'all, it's your girl. Go ahead, tap that like button, hit subscribe, share this video, and get loud in the comments. I need to know your thoughts. Put yourself in the shoes of the trustees for a second. Specifically, the ones in the village of Dalton. Try seeing this from where they stood. These folks, they really tried to work with her. Like, gave her chance after chance. Even when her English was, let's just say, rough. And I mean rough. But they didn't throw her away. They were like, you know what? Let's stick it out. They genuinely wanted to believe in her. Just like I believe in me, okay? But every single time they asked her for anything, literally anything, she clapped back like, nah, forget you. For real. And somehow, they still kept giving her grace. They kept showing up. And what did she do? Flipped the script. Told everyone they were the problem. They were the haters. They were acting crazy. And after a while, the gaslighting was so intense, they actually started doubting themselves. Like, dang, maybe I'm the problem. That's how deep in the spin she had them. Then one day, the feds pull up. Boom.
Dalton tonight, we have learned FBI agents were at the Village Hall this afternoon. Yes. All this amid those ongoing investigations into corruption involving Mayor Tiffany Henyard. NBC5's Natalie Martinez live in Dalton tonight with the breaking details. Natalie?
We are just outside Village Hall, and certainly there are a lot of questions out here, Stefan, but let me tell you about what we know, and that is that a handful of FBI agents showed up to this area earlier today. What is not clear is exactly why. Now, here's another statement in part that we got from the FBI saying that the FBI was conducting court-authorized law enforcement activity in that area today. Department of Justice policy prevents the FBI from commenting on the nature of any investigation that may be occurring. Now, we know...
And suddenly it clicks. Wait, maybe it wasn't me. Maybe you weren't losing your mind. Maybe you were just dealing with someone reckless and out of pocket. Now, I gotta bring this moment back up because it's too iconic. Can't believe how long ago it was. Feels like it happened yesterday, but it still hits like a fresh slap. This is the kind of drama you don't forget. And honestly, it always cracks me up, always, because of one dude, Keith Freeman. That was her administrator. Right by her side like super glue. Ride or die. All the way off the cliff. 'Cause let's be real, that's exactly what co-conspirators do. You know what's crazy? The stuff Tiffany says and what's actually running through her mind. Completely different worlds. Like, they don't even recognize each other. Total strangers. So when the feds roll up, hauling out boxes, and the word prison starts floating around, I can't help but wonder what's really going through her mind. Because we hear the excuses, the fake bravado, the, oh, I got this act. But when the lights are off, no audience, no cameras, that's when reality hits. She knows exactly what went down. And now, she has to sit with it. For years of smoke and mirrors, gone. And all that cash, something tells me it probably ended up in her man's pocket. Just a gut feeling. Right after everything started unraveling, Keith flipped. Quick. No hesitation. And then the trustees went and hired the exact same woman Tiffany had hyped up at her inauguration. The one she said she wanted to bring in to help with some things. Yeah. Well, turns out the board actually tracked her down, not to help Tiffany, but to investigate her. She's now the special investigator working on several issues tied directly to Tiffany. And recently, Village Hall has been on lockdown. Doors closed, limited access, only a few people allowed at a time. But one of the trustees we spoke to, the same one we mentioned earlier, said actually felt like a breath of fresh air. She said, I'm feeling a sigh of relief. For the last 3 years, myself, the board, and the residents, we all felt like no one was stepping in. We couldn't get the info we needed to make smart financial.
Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been the focus of NBC5 investigations for weeks, and that several high-level officials do face lawsuits, including one surrounding a business trip to Las Vegas that happened last May. A top administrator is now facing fraud charges. The village administrator, Keith Freeman, is accused of several false statements regarding income and fees from a private consulting firm. And Chicago's former mayor, Lori Lightfoot.
Financial decisions for the village. But now, I think we're finally a step closer to getting real answers. That's Brittany Norwood, the kindest soul of the bunch. She was hopeful. Sure, but that was a whole year ago. Tiffany still had another full year of chaos left in her. Imagine how exhausting that must have been. That same trusty suspect subpoenas are now in play, though no one knows exactly what the FBI was looking into. But the fact that they even showed up, that was enough to send the whole town into a frenzy. People were posted outside Village Hall, dozens of residents, just standing around like, "What's going on in there?" And Trustee Norwood said it again, "I'm happy that justice is being served." That comment came after yet another federal subpoena landed at Village Hall on a Monday. And Tiffany, she stays doing the absolute most. The feds came in asking for everything: payments, reimbursements, per diems, P card usage, credit card transactions, anything tied to Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Why? Because nobody ever received those records. Want to guess why? Because Tiffany was hiding them. Hi, Tiffany. Hey, girl. You really messed that one up. You should have just handed them over. Cross your fingers, toss them in, and hope the feds weren't squinting too hard that day. But no, you kept them hidden, even from federal investigators. Girl, seriously? And let's rewind real quick, back to her 2021 election. She's on camera, all proud. Hey, y'all, it's Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the people's mayor and supervisor. Fast forward to now, and the same records are being requested for her right-hand man, Keith Freeman. Remember how loud and proud he used to be? All tall and smug, like, "I'm Keith. I do what I want." Baby, there are plenty of tall people in prison. You'll fit right in. But have you noticed how quiet Keith's been lately? He shows up at meetings now all calm and respectful, like, "Yes, sir. No, sir." You know why? Because he flipped. They brought in a new administrator. And Keith, he's been talking. He's been telling everything. And he flipped fast. The pressure was too much. He cracked immediately. Not everyone is built for that kind of heat. Keith Freeman definitely wasn't. Now the feds are digging even deeper. They're looking into businesses tied to Freeman trustees and village staff who travel with Tiffany. They even asked for licensing info tied to 10 local bars and restaurants, 2 of which, Rinky's Bar and Pablo's Cafe and Bar, got raided and shut down in February. And right after Fox 32 pulled up to ask those business owners what happened, boom, 10 cop cars rolled in, pushing people out the door, saying, "If you don't leave, we're locking you up." They actually said that. Now the feds are laser focused on all the extravagant travel Tiffany and her crew have been taking. First-class flights, fancy hotels, the works. They're asking for records tied to every trip, especially ones to Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, and Portland. And when they start pulling D.C. records, you know things are getting real. That trip was supposed to be for a mayor's conference at the White House. She even met President Biden. Totally normal. Until she charged the entire trip to Thornton Township. Not Dalton. Thornton. 2 separate jobs. She didn't care which one paid for what. Just swiping cards like it was nothing. Imagine working for both AT&T and Verizon. You book a trip for AT&T, but charge it to Verizon's account. You're fired. Immediately. That's exactly what Tiffany did. So, yeah, that D.C. trip, it's going to haunt her. And let's not forget that so-called walk to Springfield. Girl, please. It wasn't a walk. It was a full-blown luxury affair. They were posted up in high-end hotels. She covered everyone's expenses, drivers, DJs, staff, friends, people rolling with her like it was a parade. And guess who footed the bill? Thornton Township, or the village, or maybe both. Whatever car was nearby, she comes up with these big, over-the-top, expensive stunts, and then hands a bill to the people. Then she has the nerve to say, "I bring in the bag." Tiffany wears the bag. No one's ever seen this magical bag. The only thing you bring is chaos. Honestly, she would have thrived in this era of fake flexing and Instagram scams. This could have been her time to shine. But instead, she fumbled it, dropped the bag. For real. And then Vegas. Baby, it all went downhill in Vegas. That trip was supposed to be business. Not one business thing happened. On top of that, something shady involving a house out there? Of course. There's always something extra with Tiffany. Meanwhile, the board's sitting there wondering why she needs a whole security detail. Why is there an entourage following her around? These folks are getting paid six figures to walk behind her. One dude, $100,000 a year just to stand guard. I hope his wife is proud because he's getting paid to help commit fraud. And guess what? The FBI noticed. They're asking for logs and records of all those officers racking up ridiculous hours, like Officer Terry Young, who clocked 303 hours in 2 weeks. When the press asked Tiffany about it, she shut it down immediately. "Mayor, can I ask a few questions?" "Absolutely not." Straight like that. The subpoena also asked for documents tied to her so-called nonprofit foundation, and she tried to say she didn't start it. Ma'am, it was literally your Facebook page. The page used to promote her restaurant, Good Burger. When that shut down, she just renamed it Tiffany Henyard Cares Cancer Foundation, like nobody would notice. If she ever swears in court that she had nothing to do with it, that's perjury. Simple. Even during her cancer walk to Springfield, she used village employees and vehicles. The web of shady behavior never ends. And the most ridiculous part? The board couldn't even get this info. But now the feds are getting all of it. Norwood said it best. "I'm happy the residents will finally get answers to questions they've been asking." So far, 5 subpoenas have been served to Dalton and Thornton Township in just 2 weeks. The latest one, they've got until May 20th to hand everything over to the grand jury. Tiffany is cooked, so deep in it, she probably doesn't even know which way is up. And everyone who's ever rolled with her, they're nervous now, checking the blinds, waiting for that knock. And when it comes, they better tell the truth, spill it, and pray, because it took a whole year just to get her out of office. But now, the feds are closing in. They don't like to move on active officials. Too messy. But once you're out, that's when they pounce. And there's a rumor floating around that Tiffany bought a house in L.A. Don't know if it's true. But if it is, why, girl? It's already public record. If you bought anything shady, it's getting seized. That's government property now. Let this be a lesson. Because me, I'm not going with her. Absolutely not. No, ma'am. Mama loves you, but she's staying right here.